everybody, and welcome back to another episode of From VA to Broadway. You know who it is. It's me. It's Brennan. I can't say I have my full voice right now, so we're going to see what the heck happens, but I'm bringing you our general programming reminders. Folks, every Monday we are here with me an episode, and every Friday, yes, that's right, Friday, we are now doing it on Friday, we are here with our miniseries In the Spotlight. But that's enough about all that. Folks, we're here today with a fan favorite. You asked, he returned. Folks, Mr. Brandon Walters is back in the studio. Brandon, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
So happy to be here.
It's been a minute since I've done it, and I expected, because when we listen, it is the theme music, and then we hear you.
Yeah.
You know? And I wanted there to be the music before you started, but you just pressed record.
You should have told me. I would have played the music. I don't usually do the music during the recording. I usually put that in after.
Yeah.
Ooh, what a fun behind-the-scene look.
Wow. Man, everybody's getting a look into
Everyone's like,
how
what?
This works. It's all edited in post.
Oh, my God.
It's not played live every time.
No, it's not.
Crazy to me.
Dylan's just sitting in the corner with the piano.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought he was.
Brandon, welcome back. You get the second time guest questions.
This is my third time.
No.
You son of a bitch.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, that wasn't the
last. Oh, that was a secret one?
That was a secret Broadway celebrity guest, remember?
We said at the end that it was me.
That's true.
We said it at the end. It's no longer a mystery.
Ask you the second time guest questions.
I guess you didn't.
No.
Okay, what are the second time guest questions?
Number one is, what is your favorite show ever?
My favorite show ever?
Yes.
Oh my God. Like theater show?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. I wasn't sure if we were talking TV show.
No, this is theater specifically.
This is theater specific. This is BA to Broadway.
Yeah. Anywho.
Okay. My favorite show ever. I'm gonna be pretentious. Sorry about it. It's Cyrano de Bergerac. It's my favorite play of all time.
Wow.
I am obsessed with it.
Okay.
I love it so much.
That's so pretentious of you.
I know it is. I know.
Okay.
Yeah, it is, but it's my favorite.
How about musical?
My favorite musical, I think, is maybe I always get stumped on this one.
Okay.
Memphis is the first one that comes to mind.
Okay.
It's the first show I ever saw on Broadway, and I do love it.
Heard.
I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't know if I would stand by that in my adulthood.
Yeah.
Are there any other musicals that I really love? I don't know.
Okay,
That's what I'm going with right now.
I love that.
Maybe a classic? I don't know. I like Little Night Music a lot.
Okay. Lovely.
It's not really a classic, but it's a good one.
Well, there you go. Sounds like you have your answers.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about them, though.
That's the spirit.
I don't feel solid in my answers. All right, give me another second guess question.
Your other second guess question is, what is your favorite theatrical experience you've ever been a part of?
I've ever been a part of?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say I have told the story on here already before, but first when we met doing Dogfight, that's my first answer.
Good, that is correct. You got it right.
I knew it. See, that one I feel solid on. The musical question earlier, I didn't feel solid on. No, my favorite theatrical experience. I did some. It was a JM Sing festival, something or other is what they called it, in Philly, and we had two main plays that we did. We did Playboy of the Western World.
Oh, yeah.
And the Triptych, which was a collection of 3 of his shorter plays that we would do in one evening.
Heard.
And we would have these festival weekends where we would do both of those shows, and then we would do readings of his 2-3 other plays, because he didn't have a lot of plays. So we would have a weekend in which you could see every single one of his works.
Whoa.
And then afterwards, we were sponsored by Guinness, and afterwards we would all go into the main lobby. It was this beautiful old movie palace.
Understood.
And so it had this beautiful lobby, and they would spread his poetry. Mm-hmm. So just like sheets of paper with his poetry written on them all over the lobby. And everybody would drink Guinness, and we would be drinking for free because we worked there. And so we'd be drinking a ton of Guinness, and if you were looking at the poetry and one spoke to you, you would read it for the room. And so it was just all of us just like being super pretentious.
That's so pretentious.
It's so pretentious. Those are my favorite things though, is the pretentious shit.
Wow.
So you'd just get up and you'd read a poem by this man. It was all really beautiful. And then the artistic director would be like, Brandon, I think this one works for you. Read this for me. And we'd read it, and he'd like do that to various people in the cast. It was so fun. It was
Nice.
so great.
I
That's
love that for
definitely
you.
my favorite theater experience I've had. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm
It was
glad.
a lot of fun.
Well,
Yeah.
folks, today, speaking of theater experiences,
Mm-hmm.
this has been on my mind a lot as of it's Wicked. I feel like something that's been on the zeitgeist of theater and media right now. I am so tired right now. It's literally all sinking in this very moment. That's crazy. 1 second. I'm gonna take a sip of caffeine.
There we go.
Wow, that was crazy. Okay. Anyways, something that's been in the mainstream of media is how audiences are interacting during the Wicked movie. I feel like it's been a lot of, this is what you cannot do. This is what you should do.
Yeah.
And it's got me thinking a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Broadway.
I love that you're thinking. I love
It's
it.
about time.
I love
It's
that you're doing that.
Truly
Now. It's
about
really
time.
good.
Yeah,
it's
thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you. It's really changing my perspective on literally everything. Because
now you're thinking.
Now I have one.
Now you have a perspective. So it's good to change your perspective from nothing to something.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
good.
Everyone out there, give it a shot. You know,
give it a shot.
You
Shout
never-
out Brennan's new. I said myself.
It's okay.
I'm tired too.
We're the same person.
Shit. Right.
So, first of all, it's crazy that not a lot of people know how to be an audience member in theater, and that's not something that we're necessarily taught. And I feel like, especially on the Broadway in New York, that's especially prevalent because most of the audiences are not coming from theatrical backgrounds. It's so much tourists. It's so much people. We're in the 21st century of technology. We don't know what etiquette is in that regard, but also, is there such thing? Are there any rules to that?
Well, I'm glad you brought me in. I'm
glad I brought you in.
The person with the most etiquette, I think I'm probably just the most polite.
We should have
and
specified.
Boy,
We're drinking tea right now, and we're wearing semi-formal garb.
I don't know what you're talking about semi-formal. I'm in a full tux.
Yeah,
This is not semi-formal.
I said
for me.
semi-formal,
This
and
is-
he showed up in a full tux. So here I am in a suit, looking like a fool. But you look great. You look very handsome.
Thank you. You look good
Have
too.
some- one
Not
second.
as good as me.
Let
but...
me fix your bow tie real quick.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
There we go.
It's metal, and I'm a metal boy, and it squeaks. I need oiling on my bow tie.
Oh my God, y'all, buckle in.
crazy.
This is gonna
That's
be so chaos.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought me in to talk about theater etiquette.
Yeah, one of the
Something
first classes.
I think very important.
Yeah, thank you. One of the first classes I ever took in college, it was Theater 100. It was a gen ed that anyone could take. And I don't even remember what it was called. I think it was just a hodgepodge of random stuff. But one thing that we did talk about was like, what is theater in the world as performance, and like what fits into that category. And it like expanded outside of what we know as theater and things to like
Interesting.
church or,
Sure.
Stuff like that, So we did kind of talk about how theater was created and like call and response and like what was appropriate in that regard. And I think especially with musical theater, there is still a lot of that, and not everyone vibes with that.
The call and response?
Yeah, like something
how?
like
How
something
so?
happens, you have some form of visceral or emotional reaction,
sure,
and you react audibly to that.
Sure.
Yes,
I'm curious. Do you mean just generally speaking, like is applause a call, like that is a call and response action?
yes, I guess
But
it
I
could
think
be.
also it is just like, I don't know, somebody sings a note and you just go woo.
Yeah,
I
think
you're
I think a
you're
lot of
thinking
that nowadays is like someone's doing something vocally that you're like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah.
or whoa,
Let's go through all of the options that we have.
So
Yeah.
So I think right now we're gonna go with someone singing impressively. I'm like,
Yeah.
Whoa, that could be something.
Whoa.
Or maybe it is the and that's accompanied by a hand on the chest. Quickly.
I like a good
Yes,
that's what I do a lot. I think.
I'm always hearing you do that in shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's
about all of them.
I think that's a really great point that we just made. Next on to like maybe if there's something dance impressive happening. I do think there is
I give
similar,
a good whoop.
Similar,
I give a good
whoop. A whoop, yeah, similar to the that you just said. I think sometimes there's a
yeah.
involved.
Happens all the time. Happens all the time in the Broadway theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
But do you feel like those things are distracting? Do you feel like that is inappropriate to happen?
I don't. I don't find that to be inappropriate.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
I agree.
Well, I think if I'm doing a show that I feel like the talent is really on display, if I get a reaction like that, that's what I'm hoping for,
Totally.
you know? But if I'm also doing a play in which I'm weeping and somebody goes, like, that's a rough call.
Yeah, kind of like
So, of course, I think it has to be within the right space.
Yeah, read the room.
Always
read the room.
Read the room,
you know?
people, before
you may not know how to read, but you sure can read a room.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people are hesitant about that, and I feel like those kinds of reactions are what I hear from people who are specifically in the theater community. You know?
Yes.
Either that or belligerently drunk.
Yeah, and you can always tell the difference. Unfortunately, which makes me think I want to just say no, don't do anything, because if a drunk starts calling, I don't know, it's terrible. Don't let them do that.
That's tough.
You know?
That is really tough.
Have people been people have been doing this during Wicked.
Singing?
People have been. I haven't seen anybody sing.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure it's happening.
I said before, I was like, I'm thinking the singing is probably coming from like the high school theater kids, you know, which I have not been in an audience with yet, you know.
I think it's the high school audience and the people who never left high school, you know, the people who are like still at heart the high school theater kids.
I guess that's fair. Yeah. But I have not been in that world yet. And plus, they also just... That was your ASMR for the day.
There you go, everybody. You're welcome.
They did also announce that they're doing a sing-along version.
Are they?
Yeah, that's coming out on Christmas Eve.
What is the sing-along version? Do we think it like has the lyrics on the bottom and there's like a little jumping animation?
Yeah, it's probably
Cynthia Erivo.
Oh, I was gonna say it's probably a flying monkey, maybe.
Perhaps a flying monkey.
Yeah.
What's his name again? I feel like it's a ch.
Is it Chistery?
Chester.
Chickster? I think it's Chistery.
I think you might be right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll edit that in post.
So
let's pretend like I got it right the first time.
Yeah, exactly. That's the name of him for sure. Yeah.
I'm not sure if they'll do the lyrics or whatnot, but I think it's just an acknowledgement that they're like, we are giving you a space to sing, so maybe for now, let's not.
There's nothing that sounds worse to me than to go to a sing-along version of that 2-hour and 40-minute movie.
You know, I am one who does enjoy that kind of stuff. If it's like High School Musical, I'm like, great. How fun.
That sounds fun as hell. That sounds fun as hell.
But with Wicked, no, it doesn't sound as fun to me.
It doesn't sound fun.
You know? Have you ever been in a Broadway show and someone is singing along?
No.
Interesting.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think. It would be a jukebox, I imagine. Yeah. If that had happened to me. I don't think I have, though. Have you?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
The first thing that comes to mind most recently was a jukebox. It was Beautiful Noise. And granted, there are sing-along parts in that, but also that just felt like an invitation for people to...
I gotta say...
Yeah.
And
granted, the demographic is primarily, like, middle-aged to older white
Yeah.
people that are going out and getting
Middle-aged to
drunk
older
ahead of
white
time.
people love to sing along.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
absolutely love it. I saw the recent, quote unquote, it's not that recent. It was like 6 years ago, maybe now. Probably more even. The tour of Rock of Ages that was going on. It was non-union tour, and I saw it a lot. And they often would have people singing along.
That feels like another one.
But I also think it like helped. I think it like aided in that show's like momentum. I don't know. I think there's like, I think in that circumstance,
I don't know that show
I
at
kinda
all,
think
so
it's
that
fun.
that feels like a.
I like it a lot.
That feels like a rock concert where that would actually
It
kind of
is.
contribute to the vibe.
I kind of think it does.
Okay.
I don't know. I also think it like is different depending on the house. I think
Yeah.
for a tour in particular, it's like, yeah, if we're in a tiny theater one day, it might not work as well as if we ended up in an arena or a casino.
For sure.
Which I think they did.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, they were all over the map.
I also saw Aladdin a couple weeks ago, and there were things happening there. There was someone that was trying to sing along to A Whole New World that was like sitting within one seat of me. I don't remember where they were next to me or behind me or what, but I was getting ready to say something, and then they ended up
that feels like
quieting
a
down.
show that would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was
And
just
that's dicier.
honestly. Also, the first time I saw that when I was younger, I definitely was trying to sing along because that was fresh out of me doing Aladdin. That was my first show, and I was like, wow. This is Broadway. I know this. And then all of the songs were different anyways. So
They are all different.
Yeah.
They are all different. I've watched it recently. What's it called? So yeah, don't do that. Not Aladdin. Don't do that, people.
I don't know. I think I would always just lean on the side of don't, you know?
Don't.
Unless I think you can also gauge by the reaction of the performers whether or not, because like a Rock of Ages things, it really does feel appropriate, but like anything else, truly, I'm like, I don't know.
I think it just depends on the show.
Even Beautiful Noise, I'm like, this is like a biopic. Like this, they are using. I guess a lot of the time they aren't necessarily using the songs to tell a story the whole time. It is like him performing a lot of them, but even then, it didn't feel completely right, you know. So I don't know.
That'd be tougher. I also think it's different being in the audience versus being on the stage. Like it's like, I don't know what I would want. It'd be crazy to be doing Shakespeare and for somebody to be saying the words to you.
That's so true.
You know?
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
So why, you know, I guess.
Yeah, I think
that would be crazy.
I think that's a good way to kind of base it off of, too, is like if this weren't a musical, would you still be doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't have a stance on any of it.
And that's so fine. Once again, this is all opinion based, you know? There was no there was no rule book as to how to participate as an audience member. But I just think, general rule of thumb, especially on Broadway, you know how much the tickets cost.
Yeah.
That means everyone is paying that much to have this experience. And are you doing whatever you are doing loud enough where they can hear it? And not necessarily.
And there are spaces for that. There are spaces for the sing-alongs.
Concerts.
Yeah. They and Juliet has started doing sing-along performances as well.
That's so fun.
Which is fun.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have.
That's a neat thing to have on Broadway, I will say.
Yeah. And I feel like I have seen something of like a Broadway rave or something.
Yes.
But it was in a theater.
Oh, interesting.
I could be wrong on this.
I do frequently I do get targeted ads for like the Broadway rave.
That would make sense. And those are like, that's literally a sing-along space.
For sure.
Which feels crazy.
Yeah.
But it exists. Mm-hmm. It exists for you crazies out there.
Also, karaoke.
That
is your chance to shine.
That's a sing-along space, baby.
You get up there, you do that.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, amazing.
Don't do it in the theater. Don't do it. If you want to give a little whoop, go for it.
Yeah, you can listen. Please react. React emotionally. You know, that is that I mean,
emotionally, physically, maybe not as much physically.
Yeah.
But clapping is a, you know, that's
clapping's cool.
Clapping's cool.
A standing O, crazy. But
that's
you
awesome.
know what? That's gonna make someone really happy.
Do it.
Yeah, get it started.
I dare ya. That's always the worst. To be the first. Like if you're seeing a show with your friends, to be the first one, it feels a little uncomfy, does it not?
Yeah, I think if it's the situation where you are the only one, that sucks. But like a real standing O, like one that is like so deserved, you will not be the only one, you know?
No.
It's going to happen to at least two, if not more people at the same time.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
You know?
That's a good point.
That's the true spirit of the standing O.
Yeah, I am very picky with my standing O's.
Oh, yeah.
Very picky. You don't get me out of my seat for nothing, you know?
I've gone through phases of this because in my leading up to being a theater person, like, I was just like, oh, like, I don't know, you stand up for maybe the lead, the final bow, you know? And then once I entered the theater world and, like, this was more, like, post-college and stuff. Excuse me.
Nice.
And, like, thank you. Probert podcast, as always. We need to start cranking out some merch.
That was good.
Of that.
I got it out.
Yeah.
That's a cute merch idea.
Yeah.
Put it on some shirts. It could just be a mouth. You know, it could just be a pair of lips and the mouth is open and there are like little sound waves coming out of the mouth and it just says PBP, Probert Podcast.
Hashtag PBP.
Hashtag PBP. That is hard to say. I have to think about it every single time.
Everybody get that going. I want you to blow up the comments. Hashtag PBP.
Get it tattooed.
Oh my God. If you get a tattoo of that,
hashtag
and you take a picture
PBP.
and you share it, I'll share it on the Instagram story, but that's the extent of what I will do. So
you don't get that much.
You
don't get that much.
Yeah, that's really a choice that you have to make yourself.
I think if somebody does that, I will make a vow. If somebody does that, I will also post it on my story. I don't know.
Nice.
I couldn't think of anything.
Nice.
Actually,
I think I would officially
serious.
declare you #1 fan of the podcast. I think that would be a safe bet.
I think so.
Also,
I think that's a
wait,
good
time out.
move.
I just want to give a huge shout out and a big thank you to everyone that has been sharing your Spotify podcast raps, and we're on it. That's been so crazy and so cool.
You were on mine. You were like 3 or 4.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm a podcast listener.
Yeah.
I love
like
podcasts.
People have been sharing. They have 5 options, you know, they listen to podcasts frequently and we're on there, and that just means so freaking much. I am so just grateful. First of all, I'm grateful that anyone takes the time out of their day to listen to me and others talk. That is crazy to me, and I really appreciate that. And it is just so reaffirming to why we are here, and I'm so just grateful that we have this community and this platform, and that what we set out to do is reaching some people, you know? So
great.
Shout out to everyone out there, all the listeners who have been...
Shout out to everyone.
Shout out to everyone.
Shout out to everyone out there.
No, maybe not
Shout out to not everyone.
everyone.
Definitely not everyone. But
Yeah.
shout out to some people.
Exactly, and those some people are the BA to Broadway community.
Do you have a name for your fans?
No, not yet.
They should be called the Boz.
The Boz.
BA. Boz.
The BAs.
The Boz.
I don't know. I'll think
The
about
PBPs.
the PBPs.
Nah.
The Probert podcast. Yeah. I don't know.
That's just Probert podcasts.
Listen, it always happens organically in some way. We don't get to choose. It just kind of happens.
That's true. I think I get to choose though as a guest.
Okay, man. Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I guess that is the rules.
I guess that is technically
Them's the rules,
Them's the
baby.
rules.
Them's the rules.
Once again, blow up those comments with our fandom name. Hashtag PBP.
Hashtag PBP. Get it tattooed on your body.
Anyways,
We should make temporary tats.
that could actually be fun. That could be a fun bet.
PBP.
Yeah. Hashtag PBP temporary tattoos.
I wonder if that means something else.
We should definitely look into that prior
Nope, not doing it.
We're still going to make them, but we should
Yeah.
just know
Yeah.
so that we know what the irony is.
Yeah.
Great.
I also say we as if I'm a part of this. I'm just a
You-
guest here.
you
that
are
comes
officially a part of
sometimes.
it.
I've been here.
That was a verbally binding agreement that
Yeah.
you have signed on to.
Am I the
assist in
most?
this.
Am I the most returned guest other than Danny? But Danny
You-
has his own show now.
Danny, I think we can declare Danny a co-host. He is a part of the team.
he like does his thing.
Yes, but in terms of guests, yes, you are the most visited.
I
here
never
on
want to
the-
lose that title.
I think we can make that happen.
Who's round in the corner? Katie?
So far, Katie has come on twice.
Uh-huh.
DJ has come on twice. And then Chris has also been on twice because he did Broadway Con as well.
Of course.
I think that's it right now.
Well, they're coming from my bag, and they'll never get my bag.
Whoa.
they'll never get it. They're not allowed to
You
have
took your
it.
bag, you put the clip on in the front.
That's exactly correct.
They're never ripping that off
They're
your body.
never taking it off my body. It is solidly on my body.
Incredible.
It's never going anywhere.
Oh.
So that's my goal here.
Anywho,
Well, we were saying something important.
We were talking about theater and singing in theater and all of that. When's the last time you were watching a show and you didn't see a cell phone?
Oh my God, that doesn't happen. There
I
are
can't
always
even
cell phones
tell
out there
you.
now.
I can't even tell you at this point.
Put them away.
It's been several cell phones always. You know, there has always been one that has audibly gone off, which I'm like, y'all, come on, knock that shit off.
It's crazy.
Also, if you're even in a movie, this has happened in the movie theater too. I always see phones, but I'm like, if you are going to take out your phone, you better lower the brightness.
Yeah.
You better lower the brightness so that it is not a glaring signal to
Yeah.
everyone.
I would love to just say don't bring the phone in, but obviously that's gonna, like don't use the phone, turn it off or turn it on silent and whatnot. But nobody's ever gonna.
Yeah.
That's not ever going to stop
No.
ever. So yeah, I guess lower the brightness.
It's just
As
like
a consolation.
I also don't know if it's the ADHD in me where I'm like, anytime there's a light, I'm like, ooh,
I know.
what is
gotta
that?
see it.
And then I
know.
cannot focus again until it is gone.
I was in an audience recently. It was really funny though, to be honest. The phone kept going off. It was on vibrate in somebody's purse, and the woman next to me, right next to me, in her purse, and she to try and conceal it, would press her hand onto the bag, but that just made the resistance and the friction higher, so it only made it louder.
You know what?
And it really was making me laugh though. Like it really, like I was like, she is trying, and like at this point, she doesn't want to take her phone out to put it on Do Not Disturb or something. She was also older, so I don't know that she knew how to do it.
That is the thing. It is frequently older people.
Funny.
It is funny when it is an older person who just does not know how to work this machine.
It was unfortunate for sure.
Yeah.
But I think I luckily didn't get mad at it. I was just like, this is just really making me laugh.
For sure.
It was really funny.
Yeah. Y'all keep those phones away. Don't be taking pics. Don't be taking vids. That's another thing too, is I'm like, why are you taking a picture of what's on stage?
That it does drive me nuts.
You're not gonna look at it.
No, you're never gonna look at it again.
No, and it's not gonna be a good picture because first of all, you're gonna be toggling with your night mode of some sort. It's gonna be taking forever. It's not going to be a good picture.
No.
It is going to be much more beneficial for you to go on the internet, find a picture, and say, "This is the show I saw." If you want to show this to someone, show them someone else's professionally taken picture.
Yeah.
They take pictures of the show for a reason. And is so you don't have to take
crazy
bad
to
pictures
take
on your
pictures or videos.
The only instance that I will say where I think this is appropriate or people should do it is if someone they know is going on for a role or something and they would like to have some pictures of that. But even then, if you are asking someone to do that, they are going to be sneaky. You are not.
Have to be.
It is. The rest of the audience will not know what's happening. Same with bootlegs too. I'm like, listen. We are pro bootleg here. Make theater accessible.
We are.
I
okay,
am.
Great.
I am.
No, I love that.
I say
that's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, let's make theater accessible.
Yeah.
That being said, the people who are doing the bootlegs are
PBP.
usually more
Pro Bootleg Podcast.
indiscreet. Yeah. Oh my God, the possibilities are endless.
The possibilities are endless.
Pro Brandon podcast.
Pro Brandon Podcast.
Yeah.
We're Pro Brandon Podcast.
Yeah.
We honestly, I think we've just quadrupled the amount of people who can get this tattoo.
That's true.
I think it's gonna happen now.
And you know what? We don't even have to know what your inspiration is. It
Nope.
could be anything.
But tell us.
Yeah, it has to do with the podcast for sure. But
It could be Pro Butt Podcast.
and you know what? We are.
And
we are.
we are
butt
pro
here.
butt.
Absolutely. Most people have them. I don't. But
You don't?
not really.
All right. Well, what are you gonna do?
I mean,
Getting up. Yeah, you're right. There's not much there.
not much there.
You have leg and then back.
That's true. It's just my back upper thigh.
For the
really.
listeners, Brennan took off his pants and showed me
Yeah.
what should be a butt.
Yeah.
And it was just a leg and then back.
It was crazy. It's crazy.
There was
right?
no butt.
Yeah.
No butt. It
Nope.
just went hamstring to lower back.
Yep. And that's a fact.
And that's a fact.
Everyone, I'll be posting a pictures to stories. Go check it out.
It's a fact.
What were we saying
No.
before?
I'm so tired. I don't know why I'm so tired.
Well, full disclosure, people, Brandon and I were partying last night till very late. In fact, I would say at approximately 12 hours ago, we were probably just getting into bed.
What time is it?
3:30.
Yeah.
So,
By bed, for me, it was the cold floor of the bathroom.
but you didn't throw up,
I didn't, though.
and that's what matters.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just said the cold makes me feel good.
That's great. That's great.
Cold tile is
Each their own.
is nice.
Yeah.
I hate
That's
that I said
beautiful.
that.
Anywho,
What are you gonna do?
Oh, old people's phones going off.
Old people.
Bootlegs.
Bootlegs.
Yes.
Why do you think they're called bootlegs?
Maybe people used to keep their recording device in the
boot?
in the leg of their boot.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
It's a good place to store it.
Or maybe I think the people who did it were probably bootleggers for some reason.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe like if they were selling pirated DVDs or something, they would keep them in the leg of their boot.
I was just about to say, it reminds me of, for whatever reason, I always think of pirates. And that would be why, because it's a pirated video.
Yes.
But why is it called pirating? Does that have anything to do with pirates?
Well, I think pirating in general, like a pirate is someone who steals and plunders to make their own, you know? So
Yeah.
I think it is just pirating. Something is stealing the intellectual property of someone else.
That's true. We're a pro-pirate podcast.
Arr, matey, welcome back for another episode of From BA to Broadway.
Pro-pirate podcast.
Hashtag PPP.
PPP.
The 3 Ps.
The 3 Ps.
Pro Pirate Podcast. Yeah,
Arr.
I'm assuming that's where it has to come from. And if not, that's factual now.
Pirates, bootlegs. Because pirates wore really big boots.
Yeah.
Pirates, shiver me timbers. Scurvy.
I love all of these taglines that you're coming up with. Wow.
I feel like I'm useless right now.
That's the spirit. You're
I feel
not.
like I'm useless to you.
You're bringing
I'm a
me
useless boy.
You're bringing me a lot of joy, and that's what matters.
I sure hope so. I hope I can bring some other people joy.
You always bring me
when
joy.
they listen to this.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm giving you zero help when it comes to
I think
audience not participation. What am I looking
Etiquette.
for? See, I don't even know what it's called.
Oh, there we go.
I guess you're teaching me.
I think it's always just a discussion.
I think what this has turned into now is you teaching me about audience etiquette.
I mean,
Which real time is what's going to be happening
I'm
when
just
people
posing
listen.
questions. Yeah. Well, now, as of very recently, we are both theater workers. We both work in Broadway houses.
Yes.
We see a lot of audiences. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it is just always such a mixed group of people, which is lovely that so many people are coming out to see theater. But there are, quite frankly, a lot of rude people out there.
Yeah.
And we tend, as the service workers of the theater, we tend to deal with them more. And, like,
Yeah.
my heart goes out to the ushers. Shout out to all the ushers out there.
Shout out to every usher that's ever ushed.
I could never do that. Ush as a verb. Interesting.
Yeah, I said it.
That has to be it.
That is what they do. They're ushers, they ush.
Incredible. If you're ushing out there, I gotta say,
If you're out there ushing.
I guess the verb is ushering, but for the sakes of this, it's not.
No, it's ushing.
If you're out there ushing Broadway shows,
Yeah.
you are brave.
They are really
you
dealing
are
with some crazy
a warrior.
people. It is
Insane.
crazy.
Insane.
It
So,
is crazy.
I mean, also, like, my first thought is, now that you've worked in the New Am now,
Yes,
at
I
this
have.
point,
Yes.
the fun fact for those out there who have never seen Aladdin on Broadway, there is a lot of Disney magic that happens on that stage, one of which is the iconic magic carpet scene.
Yeah.
Everyone... I will say that is one where I'm like, okay, it makes sense that people want to record that because the science is incredible. You are literally watching.
Isn't it that, like, everybody, all the ushers, like, run out and they're like, dope. They're like, put your phones away.
I always prep whoever I'm next to. I'm like, get ready. These ushers are about to sprint. every single aisle there is an usher ready to sprint down
That is
to stop
amazing.
someone from recording. Like they are, I've never actually looked back, but I can imagine that they're like getting in their like track and field sprint.
I haven't actually
pose.
seen that yet.
Yeah.
And I've worked there a couple times now too.
Every time
crazy.
it is the orchestra ushers are sprinting down that aisle
so
because
funny.
everyone is trying to record.
Yeah.
And that is something that Disney, obviously, it's the House of Mouse. They are keeping that under lock and key.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm about to tell you exactly how it happened.
we would both get fired.
I don't know that I would.
You would, 100%.
I don't know.
They would come for.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I'm a separate company.
I know you are. But
I'm bartending for Broadway houses now.
yes,
That's
we should have
for-
specified.
We should have specified.
Brandon
what I do.
bartends. I sell merch.
Yeah. And so sometimes I bartend at Aladdin.
Yes. So yeah, shout out to all those ushers who are battling. Also, just like trying to keep an audience under control when your only weapon is a flashlight. Yeah. You know,
It's a wild job they have. That is not easy.
And
like the things that happen in an audience, like you just don't realize.
I've seen
Like,
people straight up ignore them. Like they are in the middle of a row. The usher is shining a flashlight directly on them, shaking it to try and get their attention. They know it's happening.
Yeah.
You feel a light on you.
Yeah.
The person next to you is tapping you, letting you know, and you are just completely ignoring them. You have your phone out. You are talking,
But
whatever.
also, like the amount of other stuff they have to deal with as well. Like somebody the other day at Aladdin, like somebody had thrown up, and I think they threw up like 3 times.
That's
and it was
very
always
unfortunate.
in the audience. Like they never made it to a bathroom, and it's just like that's the things that like the people who have to deal with that are the ushers. You know, like that sucks.
There was
sucks.
one of the other shows I work at. There was a day where someone threw up in the mezzanine, and because of the angle, it just kept on. It just kept on traveling downwards. And I don't.
That is terrible.
Yes. Luckily, it was towards the end of the first act, but I'm like, that's horrible.
That's terrible.
And these theaters weren't made for people to easily enter and exit aisles. No, that is horrible. And of course, it's the ushers dealing with it. I feel
they're the ones who
got
to deal with it. It
you know.
sucks.
So I mean, granted, I'm not gonna blame you if you're not able to get out of a row and you're about to throw up. Like that sucks. I'm very sorry for you, but like,
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks to be in that position.
yeah,
But just, shout out to those ushers.
exactly.
Doing what they do. That is not an easy job.
Now, another thing that I will bring up, I mean, the shows that I work at are child-friendly shows. You know, they are shows for the whole family. But I do know of shows that people are just bringing kids to, and the kids are running
This is a good thing to bring
rampant.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, the kids are running
Yeah.
rampant, and it's like,
Just know what you're bringing your kids to.
yeah.
You know?
Also, like even kid-friendly shows, it's like, I think
It's crazy to
I
let
think
them
you need
run
to be
rampant.
conscious
Yeah.
of what age your kid is. You know,
Yeah.
like I would still say, I don't know, I wouldn't bring a child to a theater until they are maybe 5.
Yeah.
To me, in my brain, that feels like the age where maybe it is they are old enough. Even
and
for
even then,
family
there are
friendly
only
shows.
some shows that, exactly.
You know?
It's got to be a family-friendly show. Because,
Exactly.
like, they just, I think, expect it at that point. It's like, yeah, stuff happens.
And
you
there
know?
are
Kids
shows
kids
with
are
some
kids.
age restrictions, but there are some that, like for example, Wicked.
Are
There is a
age restrictions?
sometimes.
Really?
Yes, but it's usually
That's interesting.
depending on the theater or the show. But for example, Wicked, there is a no age limit.
Yeah.
That is like a rule that they have. Any of their productions, there is no age limit.
Huh.
Anyone can come to see it. But I'm like, that doesn't feel like something that I would bring a small child to. Like that
I
feels
don't know, actually. That one I feel like I would.
interesting.
I feel fine about kids being at Wicked.
That feels
be
a little.
honest.
That feels a little too spooky to me. Like I think the
know.
first thing that happens, like with the dragon and stuff, I'm like that feels like it would be scary. The monkeys feel like it would be terrifying.
I do think it would be, I don't know about scary as much as thrilling.
Okay.
And so I think like a kid might be scared of it.
Yeah.
Like by the thrill of it.
Yeah.
And that would definitely happen. But I do
For
think
sure.
that's a good musical to bring kids to.
Okay, I'll give that to you. Yeah.
I don't know about crazy young. Let's not go crazy here, but
I think it really all just boils down to the temperament of your child. You know,
Yeah.
I think you got to know whether or not they will be
know
able
better.
to sit through a 2.5-hour musical.
yeah.
And granted, there was an intermission, so I guess if they can sit through an hour and then an hour and 15 minutes, whatever.
It's a long
But,
time.
like,
It's a long time to have a kid
yeah,
sitting around.
If your kid can't sit through a movie without being disruptive or like trying to pivot to other things, then it may not be appropriate for you to bring them to Broadway.
Might
Because
not be time yet.
once again, like, here's the thing. Once again, my heart goes out to parents and whatnot, because like
Shout
parenting
out
is
to
hard and
parents.
stuff. Shout out to parents.
Shout out to
Parenting is
parents,
hard.
Parenting.
Yeah, we're not parents. We'll probably be someday. We'll probably
Maybe.
co-parent
I
a
don't know.
child together someday.
Probably.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Listen,
we're co-parenting a child.
I'm
together.
mentally preparing
At
for
some
Brandon
point.
and I to grow old together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Whatever.
It'll be nice though.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time.
You know,
It's just sad.
At
you
the end of
know?
the day, we have each other, and that's
end of the
kind of
day.
beautiful.
Friendship.
Friendship is the most magical ship there is.
That was me reacting.
Yeah.
You know, like an audience
Of course.
would, you know, being excited about
The
your
Friendship
vocal.
is the name of our pirate vessel.
The Friendship?
Yeah.
That's a good move.
The Friendship, matey.
Arrgh.
Yeah, I think, once again, you got to know your kid. Shout out to parents. But also, here's the thing, too, where I'm like, this is another thing where you have to keep in mind the money that is being spent on tickets. You are not the only one spending this money.
Yeah.
The people around you are spending hundreds of dollars to come see this thing. And will your child be interrupting that? Because, like, quite frankly, it is hard for someone else to turn around and say, can you please get your child to be quiet?
Yeah.
Like, that is not something that people are going to do. That is
No.
socially really tough. And you're just going to sit there roiling before you
Yeah.
would ever turn around and ask a child to be quiet.
I went to see Wicked, you know,
Yep.
bringing it full circle. I went to see Wicked the other day with my brother and my sister.
Nice.
And the only tickets we could get was one in front of another.
Oh,
so
that's
we didn't
crazy.
sit next to each other. Becca sat in the front row, my brother was in the middle row,
Yeah.
and then I sat in the back. So
Should I leave that in there?
do what you want. I don't know. It's your podcast.
Great.
So yeah, and I kept seeing these kids that were running back and forth in the row. And Becca just had to, it was in Becca's row.
Yeah.
And like the kids just kept getting up and just running around. And I was like, damn, that
Yeah.
sucks, you know? And
Yeah.
like, it was distracting for me, but I was 2 rows back. It wasn't
sure.
as bad. Becca was in that row.
Yeah.
And the kids just kept going back and forth, you know? And it's just like, at what point do we say, maybe this shouldn't happen?
Also, when it comes to Broadway, once again, going with the price of everything, it would be cheaper to pay for a babysitter than it would be to buy your young child a ticket to this production.
Yeah. It would.
Yeah.
It would. It's
So-
also just tough, you know, because now we're also saying, don't bring your kids to the theater, which feels like a tough thing to
Well,
say.
I'm just saying, I think you need to know if your child is old enough and has that attention span, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, the kids we saw Wicked with did not.
Yeah. Well,
was
granted, that's
definitely
also a
some sort of,
movie,
like,
so that's
birthday
tough because a movie
Yeah,
ticket is
movies.
cheaper than a
Yeah, it is.
babysitter.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is. Yeah.
For 2.5 hours. Yeah.
So,
so
yeah, bring your kids to the movie theater.
bring your kids to the
Bring
movies.
your kids everywhere. I don't know. I'm not a parent.
Yeah, honestly, we're not parents. Who are we to say? Who are we to say?
I don't know. I'm not
But-
an usher. I'm not a parent.
Yeah,
I'm not a kid.
yeah.
I'm
I don't know.
29 years old.
But if your kid is going to be running around, you better be ready to parent that child in
Yeah.
that moment so that they are
Yeah.
not disrupting other people.
yeah.
That is your responsibility, I will say.
Yeah, I do think so.
That does not
Yeah.
come down to the
In a theater, 100%. You got to be able to, yeah.
Because granted, as an audience member, I think if that was something that was causing a serious problem, the course of action would be to go to an usher during intermission to get maybe the house manager or something. You know, That is-
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would ever, or I don't think most people would say, "Hey, can you get your kid to be quiet in the moment?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think nobody should have to
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It is.
That's tough, man.
That's one of those etiquette
I wouldn't
things where I'm like,
wanna do it, yeah.
there's really no rules, so it's just kind of you gotta be
Yeah.
a responsible member of society, which I think goes
Yeah.
for really all of the quote unquote rules in general.
I was just sitting here thinking, what if there were rules specified by the theater? Would we like that or not like that? I don't really know.
Well, I think
I think there kind of are.
I think
already.
there kind of are, but also then
There
you,
are.
you get into the dicey territory of not everyone is built the same, not everyone is neurotypical in the same ways. You have people of all walks of life, so everyone should be allowed to visit the theater.
Yeah.
And granted, like, they have like sensory friendly performances of things, like
Yeah.
if you need accommodations
great.
and whatnot. That is great.
I
But
love that.
they also
Yeah.
happen infrequently enough where I know that it might
Yeah.
not be accessible enough for everyone to be able to fit that into their schedule. So,
Yeah.
I mean, then you get into dicey things of having rules. So I think it is just, you have to take the volition on yourself to put yourself in the correct spaces or
Yeah, I think
in
that's
the
it.
correct areas of the audience. I will say, like, back when I saw How to Dance in Ohio, they had
How to dance in
spaces for people to step away if they needed to,
Did they really?
stim and whatnot. Granted, that was a show consisting of
Yeah.
autistic actors, you
Yeah.
know, that was a show about that and created those spaces, which I think was wonderful. But that's not how it is everywhere.
It's interesting to have space for it
Yeah.
as opposed to just being like, yeah, people do what they do.
Also that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more of a fan of like, people do what they do.
That
That's
is true.
great.
I also do think it
Do
can
whatever
be
you-
something
do
of
whatever
like
you need.
maybe sometimes you feel like you need to get away and there isn't
Oh,
anywhere
yeah, sure,
to
sure,
do
sure,
that.
sure,
So I
sure,
think it
sure.
was more for that
Sure.
kind of thing. But
Sure.
once again, who am I
That
to
makes
say
sense.
anything?
No, you're right.
of
You're
that?
right. You're right. Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
But yeah, I mean, everyone should be able to go and visit the theater and whatnot.
Know what you're getting into.
Know what you're getting into. Yeah, I
Do
mean,
your thing, people. Do your thing.
Do your
Be
thing.
respectful.
be respectful.
Be respectful and do your thing.
Yeah, just remember you
Do
are not
whatever
the
you
only
want.
one there. At the end of the day, you are not the only one there. You are not the only
Brennan
one
and
who
I are
purchased a
there.
ticket. We're also there.
We're always there.
We have to be.
Whenever you purchase a ticket to a Broadway show, Brennan and I are probably there.
Yeah.
No matter the show,
Yep.
no matter what time of day,
We're watching.
Probably there.
Just
we're
remember,
watching.
we're
We're
watching.
always watching, and we will know when you do something in the theater that is looked down upon.
Big Brother is watching? No, Brennan and Brandon are watching.
We're watching.
Still BB, but
BB watching.
yeah.
BB will be watching.
BB will be watching. You heard it here first, folks. Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, you just got to be responsible. You got to be conscious of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings, especially in New York City.
And always, never forget.
PvP.
Always remember that if you forget, I just wanted to see how long you would let me go.
Oh no, I'm watching you.
With
cook,
always,
you know,
always, never forget.
that's an episode of The Office.
Is it? It is. It is. That's
like,
where
sometimes
I'm getting
I
that bit
start a
from.
sentence and I don't
Oh my
actually know where
God.
it's going.
That is an Office bit.
Yeah.
I can't believe I just stole that bit.
Well, it seems like something that could have also come organically to you. Like that doesn't feel off-brand.
I'm the least funny and
No, you have
least
great taste. That's one of the best
comedically
comedy.
creative people I've ever met.
That is one of the best comedy television programs of all time,
Yeah, I guess so.
and you are on par with that.
God,
Proud of you.
shit.
Anywho, any other things popping into your brain about audience etiquette? And closing
Literally not a thing is popping into my head.
Great.
At all.
Also,
I don't think so.
Be kind to your service workers there. Be kind to your ushers.
yeah.
Be kind to your bartenders.
Tip your people.
Tip your
Listen,
bartenders.
I hate to be like, I hate to be, because those drinks are expensive, people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
So
tough.
sorry. But tip your people.
Also, you can look at
tip
that line. You
workers.
can know what all of these people are dealing with. They are stressed because everyone else is being rude to them. So,
Yeah.
if you have the ability to do so, let's give them a little bit of compensation for the
Give them
hard
a
work.
little love.
For the hard work
Give
that
them
they
a
are
little
doing.
love. Tip
Yeah.
them with a smooch.
Yeah, kiss your bartenders,
Kiss
people.
your bartenders, people.
Everyone, just lean over the counter.
Lean over the bar. That almost happened to me the other day.
Did
I tell you
You
this?
did tell me that.
That's so crazy.
You were co-checking though, so there was
I
less
was
space. There wasn't a
co-checking.
whole bar in between.
No, but it was so weird.
Yeah. Actually, I did hear that on the Square payment options.
Yeah.
That platform, there is a button now, so it's
For kisses?
it's 10% or it's 15%, 18%, 20% or smooch. So yeah, when you hit the smooch button, the bar actually retracts, so it's smaller.
yes.
And there's more room
Oh,
to
that's
lean
cool.
over. Yeah,
That's good.
Technology is amazing.
Square is doing some innovative stuff these
Oh,
days. It's
wow.
amazing.
Dear
All right,
God.
well, yeah, that's all I have to say on the matter. Smooch your bartender. Kiss your bartender.
Kiss your bartender.
Kiss your bartender.
Be responsible and
Be responsible and kiss
PBP.
her. PBP.
Folks, if you like what you heard, you can't get enough. You want more. You know where you can get more?
Where? Tell me.
Our
Tell
Patreon.
me right now, where can we get more?
That is patreon.com/BA to Broadway. As always, we are not gatekeeping any vital information. That is the vital information, such as this, is for the main pod.
Yeah.
You know, we are sharing that for free with
Yeah.
the world.
But on the Patreon, I'm nude when I'm recording.
Yeah, it's still
You'll never
it's
know.
still audio only.
Yeah,
but
I am nude
Yes.
when I do it.
That is just for fun, silly bonus content.
Yeah.
You know, just a little look into our lives, some other fun stuff. If you want to know what that's like, we released one of our bonus content episodes on the main the other day for free with Katie Garrity. So go check that out. As always, you can find us on most social media platforms at BA2 Broadway. Brandon, where can folks find you if you want to be found?
I got a website. It's
What is that website?
BrandonWaltersActor.com.
There you go.
And I just redid it, so I think it looks pretty good these days.
Amazing. I haven't
which is
seen it yet. I'll
exciting.
take a
It
peek.
looks pretty good. I feel like I did a good job with it.
Great.
Instagram.
Yep.
Brandon_Walters with a Z at the end, I think is
Awesome.
what it is these days.
Yeah.
And at my home address, I'm going to say it, and Brandon's going to bleep it out. Just kidding. I'm not going to say my address.
I'm
on
not going to
public
say
plat-
my address is.
You can find me at my home.
There you go.
At my home. I live in Washington Heights. That's a big enough area.
I-
You can find me at my home in Washington Heights.
No, don't say that.
Well, it's too late. I said
Okay,
it.
fine.
Washington Heights is like 30 blocks.
If they really want to, they will find you. If they just show up in Washington Heights, they can literally follow the sound of your voice.
Yeah, that's true. They'll hear me. You'll hear me. If you show up in Washington Heights and you hear me, come say hi. I guess. I don't know.
Dear God. Brendan,
Smooch your bartenders. Bye.
thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. I'm so glad I could come. I do actually. I love coming back here. I love being.
We
given,
love having you. That's
I
for
love
sure.
being given a reason to talk about
Your-
nothing at all because I was
Yeah.
very little.
Your
help.
episodes are always just a very specific brand.
Very little help.
And it's nice to give the people an outlet to just turn off their brains and
Yeah.
be here with us who have also turned off our brains.
I love turning off my brain, but your brain is recently turned on.
Yes.
Because you've started thinking.
So true.
Yeah.
Good callback.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I'm
Thanks
sure
for
you will
having
definitely
me.
be back to maintain your record
I
of,
hope so.
of most times on.
I hope so.
And until that next time, folks, bye.
Bye. Love you. Bye. Switch your partner. Bye.
From BA to Broadway is created, produced, and edited by Brennan Stefanik, music by Dylan Kaufman, and cover art by Jordan Vongsithi.